The Scythians, an enigmatic people of the ancient world, have long captured the imagination of historians and archaeologists alike. Emerging around the 9th century BCE, they roamed the vast steppes of Central Asia and Eastern Europe, leaving behind a legacy that continues to provoke debate. While often characterized as nomadic horsemen, some historians argue that this portrayal oversimplifies their complex society and the extent of their influence. The Scythians are frequently associated with a vast territory stretching from the Black Sea to the Altai Mountains. Their society was marked by a unique blend of nomadic pastoralism and, according to certain accounts, elements of sedentary life. Evidence suggests that they engaged in trade with neighboring civilizations, such as the Greeks and Persians, facilitating an exchange of goods, ideas, and cultural practices. This interaction challenges the prevailing notion of the Scythians as mere raiders and highlights their role as significant players in the ancient geopolitical landscape. In the 5th century BCE, Herodotus described them as fierce warriors, skillful horsemen, and skilled archers. His accounts, however, are often seen as a mixture of observation and myth, leading some scholars to question their reliability. The Scythians, according to Herodotus, practiced a form of ritual burial that involved elaborate tombs, known as kurgans, where the elite were interred with rich grave goods. These kurgans, which dot the landscape of modern Ukraine and southern Russia, have provided significant archaeological insights, but also fuel ongoing debates about the social structure and hierarchy within Scythian society. The narrative of the Scythians has not been without controversy. Some historians argue that their representation as a purely nomadic people obscures the possibility of a more complex societal structure. Recent archaeological findings suggest that certain Scythian groups may have established semi-permanent settlements, engaging in agriculture alongside their traditional pastoral practices. This duality raises questions about the nature of their identity. Were they primarily nomads, or did they represent a more sophisticated society that adapted to its environment in diverse ways? Moreover, the Scythians' relationship with neighboring civilizations complicates the narrative further. They were not merely isolated nomads, but rather participants in a wider network of trade and cultural exchange. The Scythians traded not only with the Greeks but also with the Persians, and their interactions with these civilizations were often marked by both conflict and cooperation. According to some accounts, the Scythians even played a pivotal role in the Persian Wars, serving as mercenaries for various factions. This involvement indicates that their influence extended beyond the steppes, challenging the perception of the Scythians as peripheral actors in ancient history. The decline of Scythian power around the 3rd century BCE coincided with the rise of the Sarmatians, a group that would eventually supplant them in the region. The Sarmatians, often viewed as a continuation of the Scythian legacy, adopted many elements of Scythian culture while also introducing their own innovations. This transition raises further questions about cultural continuity and change in the ancient world. Did the Sarmatians erase the Scythian identity, or did they simply build upon it, creating a new cultural synthesis? As archaeological techniques have advanced, scholars have begun to uncover a more nuanced understanding of Scythian society. The discovery of intricate gold artifacts and elaborate burial practices suggests a level of craftsmanship and artistic expression that challenges the stereotype of the Scythians as mere warriors. Some artifacts, such as the famed Scythian gold found in burial mounds, reveal a sophisticated aesthetic sensibility, indicating that the Scythians possessed a rich cultural life that extended beyond warfare and raiding. However, the narratives surrounding the Scythians are not free from bias. The ancient Greeks often depicted them through a lens of otherness, portraying them as barbaric and uncivilized. Such portrayals have had a lasting impact on how the Scythians are viewed in historical discourse. The tendency to frame them as an archetype of the nomadic warrior has overshadowed other aspects of their identity, including their potential contributions to the development of trade routes and cultural exchange. The question of whether the Scythians should be regarded as nomads or as an erased empire remains contentious. Some scholars assert that they were a formidable empire in their own right, while others contend that their nomadic lifestyle precluded the establishment of a centralized state. This dichotomy invites further exploration into the nature of power and identity in ancient societies. How does one define an empire? Is it based solely on territorial control, or do cultural influence and economic power play equally significant roles? In examining the Scythians, one is confronted with the complexities of historical interpretation. The narratives that have emerged are often shaped by the biases of those who recount them. As new archaeological evidence comes to light, and as historians continue to reevaluate existing narratives, the Scythians stand as a reminder of the fluidity of history. Their legacy, marked by both nomadic traditions and potential imperial ambitions, invites reflection on how history is constructed and the voices that are often marginalized or overlooked. As scholars delve deeper into the past, the Scythians remain a compelling case study of how identity, culture, and power intertwine in the tapestry of human history. The question persists: in what ways do the stories we tell about the Scythians reflect our own contemporary struggles with identity and recognition in a world that often seeks to categorize and simplify?